Kevin Feige, the president of Marvel Studios, just confirmed some massive details about the Fantastic Four film. And he claims that he is most excited about this film, the Fantastic Four, and one other film out of all the MCU projects coming out. He also talked about when the Fantastic Four takes place and if it takes place in our main 616 universe. If you didn't hear, Marvel Studios now has their own official Marvel podcast. And as far as I'm concerned, you can listen to this anywhere that they do podcasts. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, you can listen to it on YouTube, and you can listen to it straight from marvel.com. Also, you can find our podcast on all of those platforms as well. But this first week that they did this podcast, today, every Wednesday, that's their release schedule, every single Wednesday. But today, Kevin Feige was on it, and that is where he talked about the upcoming film, The Fantastic Four. And we got some pretty interesting details. Like, for example, he states that the Fantastic Four film is going to start filming on July 29th. That is right after San Diego Comic-Con. This obviously isn't the big reveal that he talked about in this episode of the podcast, but it's interesting because we've heard from many reputable insiders and pretty big trade outlets that Marvel Studios is going to have a huge SDCC, Hall H, and D23 presentation this year. However, Marvel Studios themselves have not actually confirmed yet that they are going to be at San Diego Comic-Con. So with Kevin Feige announcing this release date the day after Comic-Con, a lot of fans think, well, this is our official confirmation from Marvel Studios that they're going to be at Comic-Con. We're going to probably see the Fantastic Four cast get up on stage, maybe pop out in their uniforms. I only say that because once filming begins, leaks typically happen. And if you've been in the fandom or you've been following the channel for a very long time, you know that. For every single movie or show that we've had so far, for the most part, we've seen the characters and some of the costumes, not all, but some of the costumes, before the movie comes out because paparazzi takes photos of the set. So we might get the reveal of their costumes at San Diego Comic-Con, especially because we're probably going to get a lot of talk about Phase 5 and the beginning of Phase 6 at San Diego Comic-Con, and possibly the reveal the entirety of Phase 6 at D23. Because remember, they still do have to talk about the upcoming projects that we already know are coming, but they still have to hype them up, like Agatha, Coven of Chaos, Daredevil, Born Again, the Fantastic Four, Wonder Man, etc. They have to hype up what's coming next. But we do expect the full Phase 6 reveal. Hopefully, if it doesn't come at San Diego Comic-Con, it comes at D23. But maybe the Fantastic Four cast goes out on stage at San Diego Comic-Con in their outfits, just so Marvel can give us that first official look at the costumes for the Fantastic Four, instead of the paparazzi giving it to us. And congrats to Deadpool, because they really only had one scene leak that was shot outside. Besides that, everything else has been kept under wraps very well. But the other thing that Kevin Feige has confirmed is that this film will indeed take place in the 60s, and he did comment and basically confirm that this does take place in an alternate universe. So let's break down what he said. Again, he said that they start shooting at the end of July, the very day after Comic-Con. Then he put the fan speculation to an end. He finally gave us clarity. When talking about the fan speculation over the movie setting, following all of the rumors that it would take place in an alternate universe in the 60s, and due to the poster they released that showed a retro-looking cityscape in the background that looked nothing like any New York that we have seen, even in the 60s, Kevin Feige said this: "Yes, yes, very much so. It is a period," confirming the movie will take place in the 60s. He also added, "There were a lot of smart people who noticed that the cityscape didn't look exactly like the New York that we know or that existed in the 60s in our world. Those are very smart observations, I'll say." So boom, bam, you looking for this?
Feet, I'm like, boom, you looking for this?
Kevin Feige just confirmed it takes place in the 60s and it's not in our world, meaning it is in another alternate universe, confirming what we have expected all along. And us on the channel and all of you in the comments, we were right. When those posters first came out, we noticed that cityscape and we said, this doesn't look anything like our world. And all the rumors say that this is going to take place in an alternate universe. That poster seemingly confirmed it. Congratulations to us all. We were right. And Kevin Feige, the president of Marvel Studios himself, confirms this, and he talks about how happy and excited he is for the Fantastic Four movie. He states in the same podcast, "I'm extremely excited by it because I think those characters are mainstays, are legendary pillars of the Marvel Universe that we've never gotten to play with or explore in a significant way outside of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness and a few fun teases before, and the way that we're doing it in that film. So I'm extremely excited for that." He would also say that he is the most excited for the Fantastic Four film and the upcoming Avengers films out of all of the upcoming MCU projects. And this is great news because I think a lot of fans were kind of worried about the Fantastic Four and the upcoming Avengers films. Yes, fans are kind of worried about Blade because of all of the rewrites and Captain America Brave New World because of the reshoots, but the Fantastic Four is going to be a massive, monumental film. The same thing with the next two Avengers films. I mean, they're Avengers films, they're huge. So while we might worry about the other films, we worry even more about these gigantic films, but Kevin Feige seemingly is telling us, hey, it's gonna be all right. I'm excited based off of what we have planned already, and that brings us to another point, Avengers 5. It seems like the original Avengers 5 plans, which of course were Kang Dynasty, have either been completely scrapped or changed dramatically. Because before, of course, it was going to be about Kang, he was going to be the main villain. We heard that it was going to be a much more grounded film before, but now we're hearing from Deadline that the film is going to feature more than 60 characters in it, which tells us that it is going to be a grand, epic film. It's going to be a massive scale film. And the multiverse is clearly going to play a significant role in this. That is why there are over 60 plus characters in it. And we know that they've been writing it, and it sounds like pretty much the general plot, the general script for the film is pretty much done. And now Kevin Feige is just super excited about it. And Avengers Secret Wars, that script could be forever changing until we actually get to the pre-production part of it. But for the most part, we know that that script is pretty much done as well. But the best part about all of this is that Michael Waldron is writing both movies. He's writing Avengers 5 and Avengers Secret Wars. So there's going to be continuity between the two films, which is something we definitely need. That's exactly what made Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame so great. They weren't officially titled a Part 1 and a Part 2, obviously, but they were. The same thing goes for Avengers 5 and Avengers Secret Wars. They're not necessarily a Part 1 and a Part 2, because we do believe that there are going to be some movies in between, but essentially we do know that Avengers Secret Wars is the Part 2 of Avengers 5. And now we are expecting some other films to take place in other universes as well. And this is an incredibly smart move by Marvel Studios. If we are going to dive deep into the multiverse, which we are, show us the perspective of other universes, not just ours. What do the Fantastic Four see in their universe? How do they come to our universe? What do the X-Men of the universe at the end of the Marvels see? In the post-credit scene of the Marvels, where Monica Rambeau ends up in an X-Men universe, what happens to them? How do they get into our universe? Is it from an incursion? And if they do collide with our universe, are they friendly at first? Are they our foes at first? Will they try to fight us? Will we try to fight them? There's so much they can do by showing alternate universes and how they come in contact with our main heroes of our universes, that the stories for these can just be absolutely insane in the best possible way ever. So I'm super excited for this, and now Kevin Feige has confirmed it. The alternate universe in the 60s, it gets even more exciting now. So let me know how excited you are in the comments down below, and please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on the MCU. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook, and as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.